Hey everybody, it's Rob here. The new Season 5 news just dropped and we are going back to hell. We're going to be fighting some of the council members from Diablo 2. It's called Infernal Hordes. It's basically a new arena-style wave system where you're fighting ever harder waves and you're going to be fighting some pretty cool bosses. They had a lot of footage in here. We also have a complete blog post with all the changes and all the stuff that's coming up here for Season 5. There's multiple Whirlwind Barbarian buffs and there are also several new items that they show here. I'm going to link the blog post and also the dev talk in the description. I'm probably going to make a more detailed video later, but here are just like a TLDR, too long didn't watch summary with all the stuff that is changing. So it was a pretty long campfire and we're basically going to have a new endgame activity. They're actually focusing on adding more endgame activities here, and you guys can see here, you're basically in an arena and there is more and more monsters coming. So this is supposed to be like, I think, World Tier 3 plus and endgame content, and they said it's gonna scale up 8 levels, and at the very end, it's gonna be about pit level. I think the monster's gonna be like 100 level 180 or something, so it's like gonna be pit level like 90 or something. So it's gonna be fairly challenging for a new season. And at the end, you're gonna fight these like council members. There's gonna be 10 different boss variations, and you're getting pretty juicy rewards. One of the rewards when you defeat these council members is master working materials. Another reward is that you get guaranteed greater affix item. Like one item guaranteed greater affix. Can be 1, 2 or 3 greater affixes, but minimum 1 is guaranteed. There also is other chests that contains a large amount of gold, and you guys can see here once he kills the guy. This is Gelb Flammenfinger. You guys remember this one from Diablo 2. You guys get to see here there's all these different kinds of chests here that you can get and that you can choose from. You see there's multiple different ones, and depending on which one you pick, again, but one is giving you a bunch of items, one is giving you a guaranteed greater affix item, one is giving you masterwork material, so you don't exclusively have to run the pits anymore, and the other one is giving you a significant amount, I didn't say a number, but a significant amount of gold, and that is looking pretty cool. That is going to be one of the season themes. And then they also introduced a bunch of new uniques, and they actually said they are introducing 50 uniques and aspects. This is like, 50 in total of a mix of both of them, right? So it could be 10 uniques and 40 new aspects. We're going to have all the patch notes here. We're going to look through them, and I'm also going to link them below. There might be some surprises on the PTR still, and this is not all the season theme. They said in the Q&A that they are holding some stuff back. The PTR will start next week on Tuesday, so you can just log in a couple of days from watching this video, and you can get to enjoy it and play it, and this is going to be so much fun. And you guys can see here some of the new uniques here, and then we get to the class balance. So Druid is getting a new stuff. That's pretty cool with Petrify and Boulder, and Barbarian here is getting the 3rd blade. And let me move the chat here for a second. So you guys can see here, this one basically converts our weapon mastery skills into core skills, allowing us several cool new effects. We can, for example, finally make a Steergrass DPS build. We can make a Rupture build. There's also a bunch of buffs to the Flay and the Rupture buffs, also some nerfs, just a bunch of like things throughout the board. But this unique is pretty cool, and basically every class is getting one here. So that is very nice for us Barbarian enjoyers. There's another one here for the Necromancer, a dagger, and there's just so many quality of life changes as well. You guys can see it here on the screen. There's one for the Rogue here as well, around Subterfuge skills, and I think there's one here for the Sorcerer as well. It's even casting a core skill is even more buffs to the Firebolt Sorc, so that's gonna be pretty insane. Then they talked a bunch about increasing the power of unique items in general. So uniques are getting a huge buff this patch. In general, they are changing the affixes of the unique and the legendary effect. So the stats are going to be, like right now in the game, the unique is pretty weak. And they're basically hoping that, a unique in terms of their stats, not an uber unique, but a normal unique in terms of their stats, would be a somewhat similar power level of stats, as the current weapons that we have. So I'm pretty much hoping that they're gonna like triple or even quadruple some of these stats here. For example, close damage, like it needs like a 4x for something here on the Ramaladi. And they will also increase the secondaries here. So this one is probably gonna go from 0.4 to 0.5. So they will buff like all the uniques in this style, and I think that is gonna be incredible helpful and like super powerful as well. And yeah, just in general, like this is gonna like add some more power creep for sure into the game. And in general, their idea was to also add tempering stats, but specific stats. You can't choose it yourself, but some items are gonna have a 5th stat, which is like a tempering effect. Or maybe it's gonna replace a stat. We don't know. We will see on Tuesday when the PTR launches. We will test all this, and that's gonna be just so much fun, guys. Just so much fun. And in general, they are aiming to have about 4 uniques in every build, and they are not talking about Uber uniques, just normal uniques in every single build. Right here. Then there's also, I'm not sure where it was exactly, there's new uniques here coming. So the Barbarian is also getting an Unbroken Chain. This is like a support amulet where you can steel grasp your stuff. The Sorc was getting a super cool one that I want to show off really quick. I'm going to link this full thing in the description. Sorc one, there was actually a video here. You guys can see this is based around chain lightning, where your chain lightning is actually pulsating through the enemies and then like exploding in a big AoE attack. And that one just looked insanely cool. This is definitely one of the builds that I want to make. Oh, and also for the PTR, wait, let's watch the Necromancer first here. The Necromancer is getting a way to control his golem. So you guys can see here, people have been complaining about the minion AI, and you can now finally control your minions and your golem to basically like leap onto the enemies here. You guys can see here, you can command them and you can control the golem Giga Chat to do damage where you want it to deal damage. And that is just such a cool, such a cool ability. And we're gonna make the Necro a lot stronger. So on the PTR, guys, we will be able to copy our characters. So you will not need to play a character that is like made from scratch, but you can copy your current character. And I think they are taking the snapshot of yesterday, so of Thursday. So you'll be able to jump right into the PTR. You don't have to level and stuff like this. They are also updating quality of life on the tempering. So they are looking more into this, but for now what they will do, they will add 1 more temper reroll per greater FX. So you guys, this also is retroactively for all the current items that you have. It's going to give you an extra temper roll per affix, and they will continue to look at the Brick Nation basically. Then there are also a bunch of implicit buffs here. So they are changing the way some of the implicit stats on the weapons work. For example, like there was some stats that weren't really that cool. Like, you know, right now, like a polearm, for example, like one of in my brick tab, I think here. So a polearm has like damage to injured. It's like this stat above the greater FX, damage to injured enemies. And they are changing this. For example, a polearm, to become more useful, is getting vulnerable damage. And as you fellow barbs know, vulnerable is actually going to be a multiplier, and it's gonna, like with the hemorrhage, which is capped later on, but still, like this is a pretty cool, a very nice change. And one big thing that they do as well is they are addressing how Uber uniques look. So you actually can see a color now. There's a specific sound and a new beam, so you're not missing any of these like Uber Duber uniques.
So you can see here,
and you guys can see it's laying on the ground, and also hear the sound
and what it looks like on the ground. So you can see here, this beam looks, you know, very different than anything else. Isn't that sound, that echoey sound? I love it.
Sounds like a... I don't know,
you definitely notice it.
You're murdering a bunch of like church organs or something like that.
So you'll definitely notice it. It's on the ground now, completely different beam, completely different sound. That's really freaking cool. And just like there's so many more quality of life changes. I'm probably gonna make a detailed one going through all of this. They adjusted Helltide to be more easier. They just did so much different stuff here. They also did a couple of nerfs. So the Immortal Sorcerer is getting a nerf. The Flame Shield cooldown will only trigger after the cooldown has ended. They are also addressing the double dipping of the Victimized Heart Rogue Seeker, but they are buffing like Flurry and a bunch of other things. They're massively buffing a bunch of Druid skills here. Like yet again, so you guys can see here, like all the Druid builds, or almost all of the Druid builds, basically get a double X in damage. Pulverize, yet again, from 50 to 92. Shred going from 28 to 52. Tornado is doubled, almost. Lightning Storm is doubled. Hurricane is basically doubled. So there's a lot of Druid stuff here as well. And there is a pretty cool note that I wanted to highlight real quick here. The Whirlwind Barbarian, so the aspect of grasping Whirlwind, this is the pull one, is going back to former glory, where it now pulls enemies in even more frequently. That is fucking insane. The Gore's Devastating Grasp, this was one of my suggestions. It finally scales with explosion size with the whirlwind size, so that's pretty cool. We're gonna try and make a build about that now. And also this one we will need to test on the PTR, but it looks like, guys, that whirlwind is finally scaling properly with attack speed. You guys can see here, fixed an issue where whirlwind did not scale with passive and temporary attack speed. So in my book, passive attack speed is like you have attack speed on your gear, you know, I don't know, you have it on your gloves or something, and then you're gonna spin faster or something, right? Like when you spin, it spins you faster. And you know, temporary attack speed, to me, this would be something, I don't have it skilled now because I'm on the whirlwind bar, and it doesn't work right now, but it will work on the PTR hopefully, and we'll test it. And temporary attack speed would be something like Carnage here, so we're probably gonna use this on the whirlwind bar, and I'm gonna prepare some planners here over the next days, because we only have 3 days and then the PTR already starts, my friends. So that is pretty cool. And they buffed a bunch more stuff for the Barbarian. Let me see if we have it here. So first of all, there's a lot of temper updates in general, and it's gonna be a lot easier now to temper your stuff. I think flay duration, for example. Flay duration now goes onto your utility temper slot, so you can temper flay duration on your boots and stuff, and you don't have to use the weapon. And there's gonna be some pretty crazy interactions with that, because we already have weapons with flay duration, and we can probably get flay duration now. Utility goes on gloves, it goes on chest, it goes on amulet, and it also goes on your boots, for example. And they finally did it, guys. They are changing the tempering so that the barb can finally temper. I think this was like one of the first ones. Here, tempering recipe. A generic tempering recipe, so the Barbarian and all the other classes can now finally temper critical strike and vulnerable damage. We don't have to go on the rogue no more. We can stay on the real class, stay on the barb, and temper our stuff. So that is like really, really good. And they are like also making it easier to temper flay, basically, by moving this from a 1 in 5 to now a 1 in 4 in utility. That's gonna be so good. Yeah, this is all gonna happen on Tuesday. And there was a bunch of more buffs. I forgot to show you one of the boots here that they showcase. I have this here in my sheet here. Look at these boots. I'm gonna try to find this in the footage. So these are new boots that are coming for all the classes next to all the other amazing. Like we're getting like 3 new uniques for the bar, basically. These boots here are like made for Woven. When you cast a skill with a cooldown, you explode, dealing fire damage. That is just so cool to see. Let me see if I can find it here in the footage here, because I think they showed it. Yeah, here they showcased this. So you guys can see it basically looks like the old Barbarian with Gores. So you can just go in, you can spin Whirlwind, and it's giving you cooldown reduction on boots, which is completely nuts. And also movement speed, 63 all stats. And you can...
Really, it's pretty straightforward. You're gonna bathe your enemies in flames whenever you use a cooldown skill.
Look, boom! Man, this just looks so clean.
Really, it's pretty
and this reminds me of the Gore's Devastating Grasp. Like you let go of Whirlwind, or in this case, you just spin and you use your shouts, and you can release this fire explosion. We'll see how much damage it does. But what I'm already thinking here, with this much damage, 12,000, you know, like my weapon only has like 4,000 damage. But this one does 12,000 already. And what we can do, like the barbs do best, we can use this direct damage to inflict bleeds with our berserk gripping, like here with this one, and then scale the bleed based off this. And there's going to be so many new ideas. I'm going to have a bunch of videos coming up, guys, with all the possible planners. We're probably also going to be updating here the page very soon with all the new uniques. I'm going to make a Season 5 drop down on the 4builds.gg, and we're going to have all the stuff right there. And it's just going to be so much fun. There is a lot more patch notes. Like, I didn't even go through half of this. There is so much more stuff and so many more buffs to almost everything. There are almost no nerfs. I think one of the big nerfs, we're gonna make an updated tier list as well for the PTR just to check. I think one of the nerfs here was that hemorrhage, and this is the bleeding node here, is now been kept. So you guys see, we had a lot of fun with this hemorrhage being uncapped. So you see I have a 74x. But now the new one is only kept at 45%. So there's a couple of things like that. The Druid also have the Thunderstruck not kept. We also have a couple of changes here. Imposing Presence, the extra health goes down. But we also have a cool buffs to Flay here. We have another buff to like the Bash and the stuns that the Bash does, which is not crazy relevant. We have a huge buff to the Wanton Rupture. So this one you might have seen. We did like 100, or some people did 140 Barbarian damage with this, and this is with a 13-second Wanton Rupture on a two-hander. So even if Hemorrhage is being nerfed a bit, they are making more than up for it by almost doubling Wanton Rupture. If you're putting this on a two-hander, it's double the efficiency, and it's gonna go down to 7.5 seconds per Rupture. So instead of 13 seconds Rupture, you can now do every 7.5 seconds Rupture. It's completely insane. It's gonna make it even more crazy. And yeah, just another like couple cool buffs here on the bar that you'll see. Man, this is gonna be so much fun. What I think I'm looking most forward to is this item that makes our this is the first thing I'm probably gonna try on the PTR. This is a one-hand weapon. I showed it earlier here, where your weapon mastery skills are also now core skills. And this one I'm thinking of using the mechanic that the Flaybarb is using with Rupture, where you use this and then scale it with the amount of strength that you have. And if you have the right items and you're playing Rage of Harrogath, you can actually reduce the Rupture cooldown to 0, and you can basically just spam Rupture. And this is now a core skill, so you can scale it with a bunch of various multipliers here on the Barb. But yeah, that has been just a quick update here of all the amazing stuff coming. So again, the PTR starts in just a couple of days. On Tuesday, you can play your character that you have right now. There is a wave system that we can finally blast towards here. And 9 seconds per wave, and you get some crazy rewards, guaranteed greater FX items, or you can choose crafting materials like Neath Iron here for the pit. So you don't need to do the pit, and you can just do this to farm your masterwork stuff and upgrade your items. And I'm just super hyped, man. Spoils of hell are here, and yeah, just you need some keys here to access this. And it starts in World Tier 3, goes all the way up to level 100, and to like I think monster level 188. Man, I'm super looking forward to this. I think that stuff looks cool. These bosses are sick. We're gonna jump in the PTR. We're gonna have a lot of build guides up, and I'm gonna make a couple more videos here the next days with all the PTR builds. I hope you guys had a good time, and I hope you learned something. And I'm hyped, man. I'm logging in, and I'm gonna be theory crafting live on stream if you want to watch here for the next hours. And I'll see you soon, my friends. GG. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.